In recent days, an unexpected development has drawn attention across cultural, political, and creative circles in East Asia. What was meant to be a celebration of art, imagination, and fandom has instead become a symbol of rising tension and uncertainty. In the city of Hangzhou, located in China's Zhejiang province, preparations were underway for one of the country's largest comic and illustration events. This event, known among fans for its scale and diversity, usually attracts creators, cosplayers, publishers, and enthusiasts from many backgrounds. The atmosphere around the gathering is typically energetic, colorful, and open to many artistic influences. However, this time, something changed before the doors even opened. Organizers quietly introduced new restrictions that altered the entire tone of the event. Exhibitions connected to Japanese works were suddenly no longer welcome. This decision reportedly affected manga, anime-inspired art, and other related creative expressions. Many participants learned about the change only days before the event. For artists who had already prepared their booths, prints, and displays, the news came as a shock. Some had invested weeks or even months into their work. Others had traveled long distances or made financial commitments to participate. The sudden shift left them confused and disappointed. Online, creators began sharing their experiences. Posts appeared describing cancelled booths and revoked permissions. While no official document openly named Japan as a banned theme, the message was understood clearly by those affected. The event's new concept was described as focusing on what was called a new Chinese style. This phrase, while broad, carried significant implications. It suggested a narrowing of acceptable cultural references. It also hinted at a desire to reshape the creative narrative within national boundaries. For many observers, this was not just about comics or animation. It was seen as part of a wider pattern. Political tensions between China and Japan have been fluctuating in recent months. Statements related to regional security and Taiwan have added strain to already delicate relations. Cultural spaces, once considered neutral ground, now appear increasingly influenced by diplomatic winds. Art festivals and fan conventions, which thrive on cross-border inspiration, are feeling the pressure. The comic event in Hangzhou is expected to host around 7,000 booths. That scale alone shows how influential it is within China's creative industry. When an event of this size changes direction, the impact spreads widely. Artists lose platforms. Fans lose access to the works they love. Dialogue between cultures becomes more limited. Some attendees expressed concern that creativity is being confined by politics. Others worried about what this means for future events. If themes can be restricted so suddenly, trust between organizers and creators may weaken. There is also the emotional side of the story. For many fans, Japanese animation and comics were a gateway into art itself. They inspired drawing, storytelling, and community building. To see those influences pushed aside feels personal to some. At the same time, supporters of the decision argue for cultural self-reliance. They say promoting domestic styles is important. They believe national identity should be strengthened through art. This clash of perspectives reflects a deeper debate. How much should culture be guided by politics? Can art truly remain separate from international relations? Or is it always shaped by power and policy? Recent incidents in other cities suggest this is not an isolated case. There have been moments where music performances were interrupted, lighting cut, sound stopped, all because the content was considered sensitive. Each incident adds to a growing sense of caution. Creators are beginning to self-censor. Organizers are becoming more careful. Audiences are adjusting expectations. What is lost in this process is spontaneity. What fades is the free exchange of ideas. What suffers is the shared joy that art can bring across borders. Yet history shows that creativity often finds new paths. When one door closes, another sometimes opens. Artists adapt. Communities reorganize. New platforms emerge, both online and offline. Still, the situation in Hangzhou serves as a reminder. Cultural events do not exist in isolation. They are mirrors of the societies around them. They reflect hopes, fears, priorities, and tensions. For now, many eyes remain on how this story will unfold. Whether restrictions ease or tighten further remains uncertain. What is clear is that the world of comics and animation is no longer just about entertainment. It has become part of a much larger conversation. A conversation about identity, about expression, about the invisible lines that shape what can, and cannot, be shown. And in that conversation, every cancelled booth tells a story far bigger than a single event.